Welcome back to another episode of All Wizards Talk podcast on the All Sports Talk Network. I'm one of your co-hosts, Bryson Akins, joined alongside, as always, by Josh Valdez and Henry. He's back.
I lost my always title.
Yeah, always. You're always going to be with us, even though you weren't here for the last episode. Are you still in the Midwest, or are you back?
Oh, we're back home. We're back
We're
home.
back home?
I, I
Okay,
needed
yeah.
I needed this Eastern weather. It's not as humid as I remember. Um, Summer air. So forgive my occasional birdie noises, but I'm going to be recording outside today.
Are you outside? Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's kind
Glad,
of...
I'm glad you couldn't tell until right now, though.
Yeah, no, I couldn't tell. I mean, I just thought the background was, something random in, a building.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I couldn't tell what the plaque was behind you. But welcome back. How was your trip to the Midwest of all the most mediocre cities in the world besides Chicago?
It's okay, Oklahoma resident. I saw some beautiful ballparks. But I dearly missed all of your DeRozan conversations and the off-season slop. And I'm happy to be back with the guys.
You didn't miss much.
Yeah, you really missed a lot.
Loaded.
You missed us discussing of this makes no sense with DeMar DeRozan. That's about
Great
it.
title.
I'm sure you were on board with it as well.
Well, we missed some unfortunate, horrible news a few days ago, and I figure that's where we want to lead off, right? A pretty
Yeah.
unfortunate injury
With-
just happened.
Well, it was confirmed.
Happened a while
in
ago.
In that first summer league game, we were there. Jamir Watkins tore his ACL playing against the Jazz. He underwent a procedure just a few days ago to repair it, and it's safe to say that he is going to be out the entire season because ACL injuries it's a pain to recover from. I mean, it takes you 6 to 9 months even to get limited physical action.
Just what a warrior that he probably tore it 3 minutes in when
And then
when
yeah, you
crossed
tore
him.
it 3 minutes in. You can see the exact play where it happened, because we were talking because it looked like he was holding right below his knee a little
Yeah,
bit.
you were on it. You were on it. You were like,
Yeah.
oh, he looks.
Yeah, I was like, he looked injured. He sat out for a minute and then came back in and played 17 more minutes that game on a torn ACL.
And played
That
some great
is,
defense.
Which
and
is
he
crazy.
still played well.
Yeah, it's so interesting how you could just play for that long on a torn ACL, right
How
out
did
of
no
carry.
one know? How did no one?
Like,
How do you get a dunk? That's how he got his only
It
bucket.
has to be adrenaline. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Where adrenaline
Through
is just
halftime?
pumping so much, where it's his body just isn't it's not really feeling it.
Insane. Insane. This is the first real brutal long-term injury the Wizards have had to deal with. They've had these on and off things with Alex Sarr and Bilal, these occasional leg
Right.
things, but this is the first season
Yeah.
anything that
Well, Alex broke his foot, right? But he's projected to be back by the season. He's
At least he
projected
was
to be
over,
back
like,
for
most of
training
us.
camp. That's what they were saying. Where it's training camp is probably the most likely return, which is only what, a month and a half away or so, month away.
Yeah, you're right.
It's-
August starts today.
Yeah, it's coming up, and so I mean, with Alex, he's at least going to be back for the season. Bilal, he missed the first 5 games of the season, came back, he was off and on. But we also had the conversation of how many of these injuries were actually injuries, and how many of them were hey, we need to lose this game so we can
Wink,
get
wink.
higher standings in the draft. So it is unfortunate because I did have Jamir, as someone that could carve out a rotational role on this team, mainly because of his defense. This team is going to need defense off the bench, and Jamir and Bilal are going to be the best defenders off the bench for the Wizards. So it kind of made sense even on a two-way, for him to continue playing and then potentially get elevated back up to a standard deal.
Yeah, you can make a case that his defense is the best that this perimeter core has to offer. And he really had a chance to fill in with the other guard minutes, Trae Young, Trae Johnson, Bub, not a lot of stopping going on there. So he really had a chance to just show up and kick the opposing star's butt like he did with DP, just beating him up, being annoying, sticking to him like glue. And he had a chance to be the 12th or 13th man, even, maybe higher depending on how the season shakes out. And if you can even say this, he was sort of like the cream of the two-way crop. He was the crown jewel of the two-way assortment. Right now, he's signed to a two-way deal. Felix Okpara signed to a two-way deal, and then it's just sort of a mystery beyond that. And he was the guy where it's this guy probably can play real minutes soon. And now they can't really, if they want to get a new two-way spot, they have to cut him entirely. It's a really tough spot they're in now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like, and the thing with that game was that like Jazz fans online got so pissed about it. Like they're trying too hard in summer league. Oh my God, it's like a whole thing, and it's like, dude, it's like you're just mad that the second round pick locked up your dude, and it's not that DP is bad or something. It's just that Jamir is that good on
I
defense.
think he forced
Like,
what 6 turnovers on DP that
8.
game.
right, yeah,
And
DP shot terribly against Jamir. Like, so, and that just goes to show his defensive talent. Yeah, it really sucks that he's out for the whole year like that because like Bryson said, I do think he could have definitely gotten some minutes. Especially for the end of games when they're trying to defend a lead. I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
Because he did that a couple times last season. He was guarding like Donovan Mitchell a little bit and like some other big time people, so yeah, and now, yeah, I don't know what they do with the two-way. I kind of posted about it on Twitter. I was like, we're gonna see how this affects the two-way situation because now it's like really up in the air. You know what I
because
Even
mean?
beyond
they
that,
can't sign someone to a 2-way even though he's injured. They can't.
Right.
yeah,
Jameer's
there's no
still
like
taking up the spot.
exemption. And
Yeah.
and now it's going to influence like the last roster spot, the 15th vacancy on the maximum on the regular season
Yeah.
roster. And now,
Which is
this opens a lot.
which is what this episode's really all about with that last roster spot. I mean, but like just quick thing on that, it just sucks with Jameer because like we mentioned, you can't have him, an injured player exception for the 2-way guy. He's still on the 2-way contract. You only have two 2-way players now, so it comes down to like, do you cut Jameer to get someone else on a 2-way spot? Which to me, like I feel like that'd be cutthroat to do that. It doesn't make sense to me to do that either because even with that injury, like he was still your best 2-way player. He got the standard deal last year because he showed he was that good, and he was someone that everyone was going to look at this season. I was like, hey, he could get elevated back to a standard again.
Yeah, and he really embodies the taken, not given sort of thing that they've been trying to do, like that meritocracy they've been trying to put in place. He embodies that. Started from the second round, 2 ways, ends up getting that upgrade to a full deal, even though they signed him back to a 2-way deal. He really showed like the hard work can get you somewhere in DC.
Yeah, and so, but with that out of the way, this is something a little bit different that we're going to do. And I'm going to leave the floor to you, Henry, since I know this is something that you're very excited to do here.
I
And
was,
so,
I was. I'm sorry. I came on super hot and ready to go before we started recording because I did a lot of research for this, even though it sounds sort of silly. But we came on ready to talk about, or we planned this episode ready to talk about how they're going to fill that 15th roster spot. There's 14 guys already signed to real deals, and one opening that they I guess are taking their time to figure out. And we've seen a few reports about the various veterans they could pick up to take on that last spot. And none of them are. There's a reason they're all still in free agency. But now that Jamir's out of the way, it sort of changes the idea of now you probably do have a bit more to gain from having someone who could play a bit more. Because
Right.
Watkins was this free rotational guy. They were just going to elevate and maybe upgrade to another full deal later in the season for all we knew. And now we all have. We're not going to say them yet, but there are a few guys who we all have that we've seen buzz around. And I wonder how should we determine the draft order, guys?
I was going to give it to you first pick since this is,
I was
you
gonna
know,
give one of you guys the first pick because I think the pick after 2 or 3 after the first one is more interesting.
yeah. Josh, you want to
Well,
lead it off then?
yeah, this might surprise some people. I still want Anthony Gill.
I do too. That's a great pick. I'm so glad you went first.
I still want Anthony Gill. I'm not letting a really unfortunate Jameer injury take me off of my track here. Because Jameer, yes, he did have a good chance of getting some decent minutes this season, but those minutes can go to guys that's already in that top 14. You know what I mean? You can spread that around. It's not the end of the world. I mean, it is very sad for him. I mean, he'll bounce back. He's very young. He has his whole career ahead of him. It sucks that he won't probably get to play this season, but I just think that at the end of the day, AG just gives you that value of like, okay, he's a vet that knows the guy so well. Everyone loves him. He's like a team legend. And, I still don't think they need a guy that's coming in as the 15th man that's like going to command, some minutes or whatever. Like, again, they have Middleton who can play some minutes when you need, and he's another good vet. So just get AG in the building, man. Like, do it at least one more year.
So here's the thing. Bryson has, I know you've pushed back on the idea of getting Gill because you're about if you can add the talent, you want to do that. So what's your response to that?
I mean, like, I can't be mad at him first.
How can you?
If Jameer was not injured, I would 100% be on board of like, yeah, just bring back Gill for the 15th spot. I would get that. It would make sense to me. And I get the veteran mentorship kind of thing, having that veteran in the locker room. My only issue is you then are bringing in two veterans mainly for the locker room presence of him and Chris Middleton. And to me, that kind of, like does it make sense to bring in two guys just for that role? That's where it comes into my play where it's like that doesn't make sense to me a lot. I did have him third on my board, so it's like not one of those things where it's like I could be mad at someone taking him first. Like
Wow,
it
not as
does
low as I
make
thought.
yeah, it's just one of those things. There are just a few other guys that have been linked to the Wizards that I'm kind of like, this makes no sense. Why would this ever happen? And
Yeah.
so that's why Gil is kind of like third on my board. I can make sense why he'd be first. It's just now with the injury, you do lose a lot of your defensive impact that you're going to have deep into your bench, where it's like now you might want to go after someone that has a little bit more of, perimeter defense to their kind of game that can give you like real rotational minutes if you need them to.
And that's sort of the rub is Gil. He did in a funny way have the best season of his career just now. Just no one really noticed because the tanking got so crazy. The lineups got so crazy, I should say. He just ended up playing like 55 games, I think. Averaged a few career highs here and there. He's not Jamir Watkins on defense though, and that's definitely a kind of thing you really wonder how do they recreate because again, you don't need another pure minute eater. And that's where I think I agree with Josh is that if Middleton were like if this were 2 years from now, I think I'd agree with you a bit more, Bryson, about how having two end of the bench vets is a bit counterintuitive, but at least Middleton can still get buckets and is probably going to be like the 10th, 11th man on some nights, maybe higher. Um, but it is funny that you still can recognize that he has enough value where there's some guys who the fit just flat out makes no sense, that there's no reason they should be above him.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. And to me, you did mention he averaged career highs and everything this last season. Part of that is because he was getting, the most minutes he averaged per night before this was 10 minutes a game. And in his second year in the league, he was almost getting 18 minutes a night when he did play. And so that naturally was bumping it up. And a lot of it was, we knew they needed a tank because they desperately needed one of these top 3 picks this year. Desperately needed that. And so it did make sense to play him a ton. He is a good veteran leader. There's nothing but good things to say about him as a person and a leader. When it just comes to the pure basketball reasons of, on-court production, you probably want, more of, some other guys instead of him.
Well, that's the thing, Bryson, is I'm gonna say you go next because I missed last episode, so I'm gonna no reward for missing episodes. So you can go next, which means the first guy on your board just fell in your lap. Who are you thinking?
I mean, I still got to take him just because to me it makes a lot of sense when you were listening to me say you still need someone that can play some perimeter defense, deep into the bench with Jameer now injured. He's going to miss the entire season. You guys know what I'm going to talk about. I've seen a lot of people actually mention this and be fine with it. And like, I just got to go with Russ with it. I think out of every option, pure basketball reasons, who's going to fit in the best with this squad with what they kind of need? Russ is the best option. Not even trying to say this as like a Russ fanboy as a kid either. Like purely when you look at what they need, this team needs a backup point guard. Out of the backup, guards left that the Wizards can realistically get and who have been linked to the Wizards, Russ is probably that best option. When it comes to defense as well on the perimeter, Russ is still probably that best option where it just kind of makes sense from a basketball reason. It makes sense. He's still a good veteran leader. We saw it in Sacramento last year. He was sticking up for all his young guys when it came to, whether it was coming from the media, it's coming from us, or coming from internal within the team. He was sticking up for the young guys, and the team needs guys like that who are going to stick up for Alex Sarr, AJ DeBonsa, Keyshawn George, Trey Johnson, all these guys who are just bound to mess up at times because they're young and come to their defense and come to their aid. And Russ is going to be that guy who can still, as some nights be the 10th man for you coming off the bench and still giving you a valuable 18 minutes.
Yeah, I think like with Russ, my thing is just like if they got him, it'd just be like okay, it just can't be like Russ in Sacramento. His usage would have to go so far down compared to that. If his usage were not out of the like just totally out of control, like it has been a lot of times in his career, then I think it'd be okay. I do agree. Like he is good at being like a really good vet for the young guys. I think he even said that. I think after they played the Wizards last season, he was like, "Yeah, it's my job to like be a good example." Because
Yeah.
he was talking to the Wiz kids after the game. So that's all great stuff. It's just again like he's such a like a ball dominant guy typically
And
that
I'm glad you mentioned it can't be Sacramento Russ, like the kind of player
yeah.
that you see on the court. Like you got to see like Clippers Russ is what I'm looking at.
Mm,
Specifically that second season with the Clippers where he only started 11 games for him. He was coming off the bench majority of the time, played I think it was a career low in minutes. Yeah, career low in minutes at 22 a night. And he was averaging 11, 5, and 5 a game, where it's like you take that. He wasn't turning it over, an insane amount like he has been known to in the past. It
mm.
was a career low, only 2 a game, which is kind of weird to say that is a career low at 2 a game. But even then, like with Russ, if he's not having 3 turnovers a night, you take that with him.
Here's the thing, even during that season, he still had a usage rate at 25%. And that's the kind of thing I think you have to brace for. I really like the idea of Russ with the young guys because, DC fans have already seen it. It worked pretty well in 2021. But I wonder how you get a player who's only ever known high usage to suddenly go from 25.9% like he was last season and just settle into this deep cut role, especially considering Trae Young is usually pretty available. Last season was an anomaly by almost all measures. He's almost always there, and you have other, as I think we've said in this podcast a few times, mouths to feed from the ball handlers, from the other guards, and I really wonder who would lose something because I think someone's going to lose something. If we're going from Gale as a 15th guy like he was last year to Russ, some ball handler's not going to get as many touches. And I wonder who's going to be the biggest victim of that.
Yeah.
It'd probably be Will Riley if we're talking off the bench. Um, but with Russ, I'm not advocating, and I think this is where it gets lost in translation with a lot of people who do end up advocating for Russ as this final roster guy. Not advocating for him to be getting 20 minutes a night every single game. That's not the advocation. It is the fact that, hey, because Jamir, was he going to get, 20 minutes a night starting off? No, he was going to have to earn it, and he probably wouldn't have made his way into the rotation until February. All right. It's just injuries are going to happen. There are going to be nights where you have 2 or 3 guys out. It doesn't hurt to have Russ then come in off the bench like that. Good veteran leader as well. He's still going to give you what he can. A great guy to go up against in practice as well, where it's like in all aspects of the game and what this team needs, another backup guard and a good veteran leader who is going to help out some of these guys develop, especially Bub Carrington, who needs to learn how to, finish around the rim a little bit. Will Riley, who needs to learn how to be more physical. There aren't a lot of other better options than Russell Westbrook still out there in free agency.
So Russ, straight off of playing 29 minutes a game, where do you imagine him sliding into the rotation? Like, when does he come off the bench? Like, is he like the first guy off the bench or the second?
No, 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 no. Like I
Because this is
just
the
said,
problem. He's almost always been the first guy off the bench if he's ever been off the bench.
the problem is, and this is why, and like you mentioned, there's a reason a lot of these guys have not been signed yet. All right, he like every team in the league almost kind of knows like, hey, Russ, like he's not your first guy off the bench anymore. He's not going to be starting. They're like almost every team in the league, he's probably not starting anymore. All right, he just that's the truth of the matter. Even if he came back to Sacramento, Darius Acuff is starting over him because they need to start Darius Acuff so he can develop a little bit. And he'd probably be like the third guy off the bench for Sacramento, only getting 18 minutes a night. So it just comes down to where with Russ, I don't think he is carrying, at 37 going into 38 with a season or 2 left. I don't think he's worried about, man, let me get my own. Let me get my time. It's probably more so of a, let me go play for a team who can, actually use me in some regard where I still feel valuable and needed, and I'm going to win some games. And just with the teams that are left that can kind of sign him, that can win a few games, that still recognize he has some value, Washington is one of those only teams. It's just
They'd appreciate
truth of the matter. Yeah, he would be appreciated. He would still have a role, even if he isn't playing a ton. He'd still have a role.
Yeah, and it's almost like he feeds off the fan base. If he feels like he's respected and understood, I think he responds well to that.
And out of all the guys that we mentioned, Gil and Russ would be the most welcomed out of any player.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And so
Yeah.
that's kind of my
Yes.
whole That's kind of my whole take on it, where it's like if he needs to play, he's still going to give you valuable minutes off the bench, but he's not going to be playing every night. He's like, to me, if he signed with this Wizards squad, he's like the 12th best player. And so, like, if you need to go deep into your bench because of foul trouble, you can go to him. Odds are, if you want to be a successful team in the playoffs, you can't really go more than 9 deep. You have a top 9 players, and then that's it. You have the rest for, like, injury or foul trouble. So
Yeah, and you're going to lose one guy every series you go further. The pick makes sense. And I say this unironically, I'm very happy you got your guy. Russ was a pleasure to watch during his season in DC, and I figured you'd have him high on your board. Josh, I wondered how high you would have him. Admittedly, I did not have him quite this high, and I feel you guys are going to hate this because I actually considered, before the Watkins injury, I considered picking no one. If I were up for second or third, because I just like the idea of them elevating someone later on down the line. A two-way
that's
guy.
where I
like
was.
Wanna...
If I was
thought
picking first or second, I still would have went no one if the Watkins injury never happened.
You too.
That's the thing.
Yeah, so I thought of that. But then,
because were you also thinking you just use that roster spot come January to elevate someone, whether that
like
be
they did
Felix
last
or
year.
Jameer? Yep.
Yeah,
That's
like
my
he
thought
ended up playing
process.
50 games anyway, so it's funny. They actually didn't really need to, but it was like insurance because he hit the max that he would have had on a two-way deal.
Yeah.
But I actually went a different road. And we've poo-pooed these alternatives for a while, but I really thought through Gabe Vincent and Aaron Holiday here.
That's
they
such
don't
a weird
have
sentence to say. I'm sorry.
It sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. That is the most August NBA sentence anyone's ever said.
There's one guy out of those two I like way more than the other. I'll say that.
Well, here's the thing. I did a breakdown.
Yeah.
Because they're two guys who are so similar. They're both little guards who have been these usually reserve role player type guys for a while. They're both only 29, which is sort of funny because Gabe Vincent came on sort of late with the Heat, and Aaron Holiday, I think because he's a Holiday brother, we assume he's older than he is, but he's only 29. Or he's 29 last season, maybe he's 30 now. But I did a few comparisons. You got to hear me out here. So Holiday last season averaged 5.5 points per game to Gabe's 4.4. Last season he was Houston's 10th man. And he got those numbers as 10th man. Vincent was the Lakers' 8th man, and later he was the Hawks' 11th man because he got dumped for Luke Kennard. That's all fine and dandy. But then I looked at some other stats. These are all very basic stats, but I did some comparisons. Aaron Holiday shooting 54% true shooting for his career, 57.8% in 2026. He's a 38% three-point shooter for his career. He shot 39.4% last year. Gabe Vincent, 52% true shooting, 51% in 2026. 34% from three for his career, 34% in 2026. And his numbers got worse in Atlanta. They're both these sort of ball-moving type, play some off-ball defense, just sort of fit in. They're both supposed to be low maintenance. But I ended up going Aaron Holiday here for my second pick, just because I see the pitch as this ball-moving...
Your first pick, that technically.
I would have picked Gill first, but he is my first pick. He's my first pick. He's the third pick of this draft, even though I would have had him second. The pitch is as this ball-handling guard who's, I think, comfier sliding down in the depth chart, even though some of the Gabe Vincent off-ball defense that J.J. Redick alleged that he liked a lot did tickle his fancy. It got him a lot of minutes at the Lakers with a few seasons. The shooting is so streaky, and I think you'd rather have someone who can just fit in. He's already been here. Aaron Holiday was here in the 2022 season, and I think I like the idea of someone who's low maintenance and can do their job as the 12th man comfortably.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I feel like based off their recent body of work, I just have more faith in Holiday being efficient, not turning the ball over, stuff like that. And that's all I want out of these guys, So with Vincent, I feel like his heyday was like those like Jimmy Butler Miami teams, and I just don't see it anymore.
I was pretty shocked by the 3-point numbers just because we think of him.
That was 4 years ago. That's
the thing. It was a while ago, but he was kicking everyone's butt all playoffs. Like he lit the Celtics up himself. And that's just not what he's been for his career. And it's funny. That's what those Heat teams were. That 2023 team especially. Like they were like the 8th seed because they couldn't shoot all season, and then they just hit every three for 2 straight or 1.5 straight months, and then the finals they ran out of gas. But Josh, I was wondering when you said you liked one of those guys more than the other. I was like, I'm sort of assuming you're talking about Holiday here, but we've talked about this before. How they're two pretty unexciting names. They're guys who in 2026 are sort of meant to be 13th men.
Right.
Like
you said, it's a very, very, very August NBA sentence, So Yeah, but no, I agree. I think like for me, it would have been Gill, and then I would have picked like just to leave it open for the second pick, and then Holiday for third. So
So even after the Watkins thing, you're still saying leave that spot open and only walk in with 14 guys.
well, no, well, I'm saying Gill's my number one,
Yeah.
but yeah, but if you don't get Gill, then leave it open. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that. That makes sense. Bryson, where did you have Aaron Holiday?
I had him pre-injury. I had him like fourth and fifth, like
That makes
just
sense.
back and forth with him and Vincent. Which, I mean, like just being honest, Holiday
Tough
did
sledding.
have the better season, and so
I
it's
mean, the Gabe
just
Vincent thing just went downhill. So I mean, it was he had it coming. It was like a few seasons of really like truly streaky 3-point shooting, and that's not
yeah.
really what
When
I
I
want.
saw that, like Gabe Vincent, and this came from Stein, like what, a month ago.
This is crazy. Yeah.
Like when I saw that, I was like, no, it's got to be a typo. I was like, this got to be a typo. Like I just it didn't make sense to me. It just and this is the thing with a lot of players that have been linked. Even Holiday to me, it kind of doesn't make sense. Where it's like just trying
That's
to
the thing.
think.
Yeah, there's nothing exciting about the Aaron Holiday experience.
It's just not. Yeah, it's not like
It
and free agency is practically dead. Like of all the guys the
is good.
Wizards can get, they're either gone now or it's just they're not exciting players out there. Like we mentioned, like it's Aaron Holiday and Gabe Vincent. Like that's like, are they going to play? No. All right, like they're there to take up that last roster spot basically. And to me, you just don't sign someone to take up the last roster spot just to take it up unless they're showing a true purpose to the team. And so for me, it's just I still got to have that final, like just leave it open ahead of them.
Yeah, it's like a regular season minute eater kind of thing. I really only preferred him to Russ just because I think he would just stay out of the young guy's way, and that's the thing I value more than almost anything.
Yeah, I get what you
You were toast to
mean,
step on, I guess.
but it's also one of those things where it's like, being honest, what's Gabe Vincent going to teach someone like Bub Carrington? Like,
Yeah,
just
they're
being
not at
honest,
that
what
level.
skills does Gabe Vincent have that are going to translate to help out Bub Carrington? Because Bub Carrington is a 41% 3-point shooter.
Right.
Playoff rising, I don't really know what else to offer there.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
it's the same with Aaron Holiday. Like, what can Aaron Holiday teach, a backup point guard like Bub Carrington with if that's what the team truly wants him to be, or Will Riley? And so it comes down to like there's no skills that like Bub needs to work on that they can teach them. Whereas like with Russ can teach him to be stronger and be a better finisher. Aaron
Yeah.
Holiday and Gabe Vincent aren't known to be these guys that are finishing around the rim.
Yeah, and you know he's going to garner respect in the locker room too.
It's
Yeah,
kind of like a push and pull between like, okay, Russ might have the ball a lot, but he knows a lot more that he could teach to the young guys. Whereas Aaron Holiday and Gabe won't have the ball as much, but they're not teaching much. So it's
Yeah,
a
it's like if you value the highs,
right.
Russ 100% has the highest ceiling he can hit with
it's
this. As
like
yeah,
a Gabe Vincent Aaron
already
Holiday signing is like when you're in college and you have to do group projects and the professor randomly assigns them and it's just that last person that got left out and they're just there. They're just there for the ride where it's like, cool, man, like glad you're here, but like, what are you gonna do? Like, how can you help out? It's like, oh, just tell me, and it just comes down where it's like you don't have anything for
yeah, they're still downloading PowerPoint on their computer. Well, I'll tell you what, Josh. The option of no one just fell right into your lap. What are your scouts thinking?
Yeah. Yeah, I can't believe I fell to fourth. That's unbelievable steal right there. Um, yeah, I mean,
Can we
this
get the Bill Simmons? Whoa!
this is a dream pick at this spot. I'll say that. This could really change the franchise. Um, yeah, because again, like we were saying before, like okay, they don't have to get anyone, bro, to be the 15th man. Still,
No, they don't.
right? Like Jamir, we love Jamir, but he was a two-way guy. It's not like they have to replace him, right? You could just leave it alone and see what happens. Especially because there's so many guys. It's still overcrowded, guys, even without Jamir.
It's a deep rotation.
Like you still got like Whitmore and Bub might not even be in the rotation, right? To start the season. And those are two guys that they wanted, to get good things out of.
Bub will probably
Right?
be in the rotation to start the season.
How many minutes? But think about it. But
16,
really, huh?
16, 15, something like that.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? You got the starting five. You got Trey Johnson off the bench, right? Ayton, Will Riley. Who else that I'm forgetting? Oh, Champagny. That's 9 right there.
Riley, you said
But
Riley.
they're
Okay,
not
Riley.
starting with just a
Lol.
9-man rotation though, is my thought. Like beginning of
Yeah.
season, you're going deep to try to figure out, hey, who is the players that we can rely on.
Whitmore.
And like, yeah, Whitmore will get rotation minutes to start the season just because, like, you got to figure out who can you actually rely on when it comes February and March.
hmm I mean, yeah, he'll get minutes like in that test run. But what I'm saying is like Bub's gonna be on the lower end of it, I think, to start.
Okay.
Like
I agree.
in comparison to Trey Johnson, Champagny, Ayton. You know what I mean? It's like because
Okay.
the thing with Ayton is like they need the backup big minutes, right? So that's like
Yeah.
he feels a clear need there, so Bub can't interfere with that. And then like he's a shooter, but so is Trey Johnson. I think he's better, right? So and then Riley, they kind of want him to be it's kind of between Bub and Riley with I think that spot. It's like because it's like they kind of want both of them to be backup PG
Yeah.
a little bit, see what happens there. But yeah, I mean, anyway, yeah, but I think like all these battles, you can have all these battles in the next few months without having the 15th man, so it's fine.
Yeah, here's the thing. I respect your decision to draft no one with the 4th pick. It would be sort of a bummer though, because this is basically their way of saying we could have Anthony Gill back, but we won't. Because he would cost nothing and he requires nothing. But usually you see teams if they avoid signing 15th guys for tax purposes, and the Wizards have like multiple. They have like the mid-level
They're
exception. They have
10
a
million
UCF.
under the luxury tax.
Yeah. So that would be really funny if they just said we're gonna abstain from rounding out our bench and just see if anything materializes later on.
Well, here's the thing.
Not a bad thing.
Here's the thing that really, entices me as like not taking anyone, like leaving that last roster spot open. You can then just trade for someone. You can trade 2 seconds to get someone. You don't have to sign someone with that last roster spot. You can go out there. How many seconds do they have? Because let's look at that real quick.
Not as many as we think, probably, because they've traded they traded 4 to get Ayton and Middleton.
Let's see.
So they still probably only have like 30 or something. It's still some incredible weird number.
Yeah, they still got a bunch of picks. So
Yeah, no, they still have a good amount of draft picks. Like it's like looking at it, I think they still have like 8 second-round picks.
Not bad.
Whereas like trade 2 of them and get someone. Like I'm sure a team will, dump someone off for 2 second-round picks. Where it's like there are players out there where a team could, use more seconds to kind of use them to move up in the draft or asset manage. Like let's say, and this is a weird example, but let's say Nikola Topic is up for trade. All right. He had crazy potential coming to the league. He's had some very, very bad luck.
The worst luck of anyone in the league. Like just call
Yeah.
it what it is. It's insane what this guy has to deal with.
Yeah, some horrible luck coming into the league. But let's say he comes to Washington. You're truly trying to find a backup facilitator and point guard. That was what Nikola Topic was known to do. He was known to lead an offense. He was known to lead an offense when he was playing. Where was he playing? Oh my goodness, I can't remember the team name.
Like pre-draft.
Yeah, pre-draft.
They had pink jerseys. I remember that.
I remember that specifically. But he was known to be a guy that could get downhill and finish at the rim, where it's like, oh, he facilitates and he gets downhill and finishes at the rim. Man, like this is a dream come true. Why not trade 2 seconds to see if you get him?
I wouldn't hate it, even though again we're not avoiding the problem of too many cooks in the kitchen. You'd appreciate a backup guard who can get to the rim because that's pretty rare in Washington, and that's a very worthy, like that's called like a second.
And he's a
draft.
great
Like a second
passer.
draft.
He's a great
Good
passer.
good ball mover.
That's what the
athlete.
bench is really missing is someone that could really see the court.
Yeah, I get it as a second draft perspective. I'd be a fan of that.
he played in Serbia.
Yeah.
I knew it was in Serbia, but I thought Bryce was
I just
trying to
couldn't
remember like
I just couldn't
the name
remember
of
the
the
team
team or
name.
whatever.
Yeah, I knew they had pink
Mega?
jerseys.
Mega.
Mega.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And so, but like, that's just an example where it's like there are, some guards out there, whether you're looking for someone defensively or as a facilitator, that you can trade 2 seconds to go get. And it's not like seconds are extremely hard to come by. Like, let's say, for example, Bub Carrington just doesn't work out. You can get those 2 seconds back trading Bub, for example.
Wait, but Bryson, do you think that OKC would cut bait with Jokic already? Because I feel like
No, I was
already
just using
just
him
2
as an
seconds.
example. I was just using, like, as an example of, like, you can just have that last roster spot open, use 2 seconds to go get a backup guard or backup whatever you want with that last spot.
By the
That's-
way, yeah, when I was talking about the rotation earlier, I forgot to say Bilal. You see what I mean? Like, there's
Yeah.
so many dudes.
No, they're just so many guys, yeah.
A lot of guys.
Yeah, like even though like if you don't want to get AG to leave it open to like Bryson's saying it to get someone later, you're still gonna be, it's still gonna be packed with dudes in the rotation. So
Yeah, it was good value getting no one at this point.
yeah.
Fortunately for Bryson, he's now and the fun's over for me too because I'm gonna get whoever he doesn't want here. There's just a few names left and they haven't gotten a whole lot of pre-draft buzz.
Can I
but it's
trade
your
the
call.
pick? Can I trade the pick? Can I trade it for a future when this discussion happens again in the summer of 2027?
Yeah, what two guys are you looking at right now, or do you have? To
I mean,
look
we
at
only got 2 left. It's Gabe Vincent or DeMar DeRozan, and like, I'm just.
You can screw me here. It's your call. I got to take whoever you don't want.
But I don't want either. It's.
Josh already took no one.
I know.
This is why having no one fall into my lap is so dope at number 4.
Like,
now I'm not in this position.
I just do I take Mr. I am Toronto? Or do I take someone that doesn't even have a nickname on Basketball Reference?
Is that his nickname? DeMar DeRozan's called I Am Toronto.
Mr. I am Toronto.
They make these nicknames up. I've never once heard anyone call him that.
Yeah, I never heard that before.
It's an official nickname for him on Basketball Reference. That or Debo, which everyone has.
Yeah,
heard.
I've heard Debo.
Oh my goodness. Ugh. I just Gabe Vincent or DeMar DeRozan. Or there are other options in free agency. There are other options.
You're not getting out of this one.
Gary Payton's still available in free agency.
I'd prefer Gary Payton over.
I
over
would prefer it, but if I have to choose one of these 2 guys, I mean, shoot, I guess DeMar. I mean, like
Why did you put Gary Payton on the list though of available people?
He just hasn't been linked to the Wizards at all.
Yeah,
That's
we're
why.
pulling from reports we've seen.
Got it.
Yeah.
We were scrounging, but you picked DeRozan. Wow.
Like, it's like I'm trying to like figure out a way to describe this. Like,
Well,
it's like
you made.
it's
the
like
case
your
to us
last
2 days
class.
ago.
Like, do you want to take, like, it's like you have your one last elective. Do you want to take like the history of orchestra music or 1700s literature, where it's like you don't want to take either, but you have to take one of them?
Yeah, the literature professor, he's really Russian. And he comes to class with no PowerPoints. He just lectures for an hour 15. But the
orchestra professor makes you learn sheet music.
Yeah, and the TA is really unhelpful. And they have assignments due at 8 a.m. on Monday, every week.
I just like, it's.
But listen. I'll sort of spare you here because you made the case to us for DeRozan, if you had to, a few days ago, that for someone like you who abides by Murphy's Law, you're afraid that anything that happened will happen for rotation. He can get a bucket if he has to, and that's where I mean you value.
It's anything that can go wrong will go wrong. All right, and it's like with the Wizards, we know they've had some rough luck. They've had some. Yeah, it's already started. Like we thought it was turning around with getting AJ DeBonce. Like, oh my goodness, finally the basketball gods have blessed us, and then all of a sudden Jamir goes down, Alex Sarr breaks his foot, and it's like, maybe we're not back. But it's like
we beat up on this poor guy enough. I'm gonna put him out of his misery. I'm gonna take Gabe Vincent, who actually had going higher than this. So this is good value for me. I had him going a few picks earlier.
No way. There's no way you had him going above 5.
I did. I had him going 4th or 5th. I really did.
Why would you go 4th?
I think the good version of Gabe Vincent He hits some threes. He stays out of the way. And he can just have a few games where it's like, oh, look at Gabe Vincent.
So you
And
had him over Russ. You had him over Russ.
I did, but I didn't feel good about it. Don't get it wrong.
What are we doing?
I didn't feel good about it, but I really value someone who the word I always use is unobtrusive. Like, stay out of the way and let the young guys get their touches. So I value the idea that the best case scenario, he stays off ball, hits some threes, has some good games, and doesn't hinder the on ball growth of Keyshawn, Bilal, Riley, or AJ, or anyone else.
I just think that Aaron Holiday is the better version of that,
Listen, I had Aaron Holiday going second in my draft, so I felt great about that.
I think I'd rather sign myself.
Yeah, if we want a double-double of high fives and times the star player say get out of my seat, that's what we would sign you for. You're just Anthony Gill Jr. but without the community service aspect.
It's not even that. He's like, oh
Bryson
my
can do some
goodness.
community service. Come on, bro.
Like,
You're gonna be sick if any of these guys who we've dumped on signed to the team. All in the cards, by the way. As we said, these are all guys who we've seen something linked to them. Because I had a joke earlier. I wanted to include Beal in there, and the guys were like, "We can't do that." And I was like, "You're right."
That's too foul. I really hope they don't sign Gabe Vincent, man. I really do. I really hope they avoid Gabe Vincent and DeMar. That's really my wish.
I hope they avoid both. I'm trying to look like, man, like, what if we have like 5 guys injured? Who would I rather see on the court?
No one, because then at least you get the Will Riley show. It's like why like not alter the minutes equation. It's like let the guys existing try some more stuff.
So let Will Riley play all 48 minutes and have him die out there?
I mean, listen, not 48, but the Will Riley show last couple months last season, that was
the Will Riley show was great. Yeah, I'm not denying that. I'm
Give him like 38 minutes.
Right.
Oh my.
I mean, listen.
Gabe Vincent over Russ. That's bold.
I don't like this.
That's bold. That's bold.
At that point, I would take Russ because
okay. I'm not saying he's better. I'm saying from a fit perspective.
Yeah, I know.
Even then, I think Russ is the better fit.
I think that Gabe is just so uninspiring that I would still take Russ just because he has all that knowledge, like Bryson was saying. Like,
yeah, I think we as guys who are around the team would really appreciate Russ more. That would give us a lot more entertainment value. That would give us a real, like, when we're going to the season, we're going to make like our list of like storylines or whatever. And that would be up there. Seeing like the Russ return, what he has to give as this guy who's trying to straddle the line of mentoring while still enjoying his last couple of years as a real player. And that's one thing that we've ran into with some of the other older guys. Like Chris Middleton's been pretty adamant about that. That like he said, I'm not an old guy. Like I may be getting up there, but I'm still here to play. And Russ falls into that same sort of boat. He's still trying to get his too, and that would be much more entertaining than Gabe Vincent would be. But as someone, I think Josh, you get this a bit more, that the idea that let the young guys play. And if I want someone, I'd like someone to just compliment them off the ball. Yeah. I never want this aggregated and me saying Gabe Vincent is a better player at any point than Russell Westbrook.
I think too, it does help vibe-wise that both Russ and AG have played for the team. That always is nice for the fans.
Teammates,
right? Yeah, I forgot. Wow,
Gill's first year was the Russ year,
right? And so again, it's just a matter of like from that perspective of like fitting in and hanging out and like vibing, and not being, as you say, intrusive. I mean, Russ might want to be on the ball a bit, but I think if they were actually to sign Russ, they'd be like, hey, like, you're not going to get the ball like you did in SAC. Is that okay with you? And then that'd be his choice,
So the final draft board, I should have written this down, but I didn't. Went Gill 1, Russ 2, Aaron Holiday 3, No 1 4, DeMar DeRozan 5, and Gabe Vincent 6.
That's right.
That's where we landed.
I think it's a solid board. I think it's solid.
I was really wondering. I think Russ was where I wondered he'd have the highest difference because he was the one I struggled with the most. Because I really like the idea of him as like the helping hand on the team, even though it can be a really wild ride, as Bryson well knows. But I get it. If you like the highs, I get it. You still mad at me, Bryson?
I mean, like, even like fit wise, it doesn't make sense to have Vincent over Russ.
What? Yes, it does. Like just another like
Ooh.
stay away from the ball. Just shoot some threes.
Of course he's gonna stay away from the ball. He's staying on the
Run
bench.
around on defense. But we have enough on ball guys.
That's the thing. Yeah, I mean, he's only saying it because he would have the ball less, Bryson. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
Like,
I am never going to do this with the intention of a Gabe Vincent centric lineup, and I don't think Keith would even dream of that either.
bro, that would be wild, bro. That would be crazy. Like, imagine having Gabe Vincent centered lineups after like everything that's happened the past few months. Like,
I was excited when the Lakers signed him. I was like, look at that, Gabe Vincent, because he just come off of like this awesome 3-point shooting stretch. And he only played 11 games that first year with the Lakers. And he played like all last season or all 2 seasons ago with the Lakers, and the fans turned on him in a way that only Lakers fans can really do. And last season was like a mercy killing when he was traded to Atlanta. Happy to have you aboard, Gabe.
Go get me a water. Like,
yeah, anything else? Anything else you got to add, Bryson? Now that we
like,
survived the draft.
oh my goodness! Like, just the idea of Gabe Vincent. Like I said when I saw it, it's like Stein's got to like get something wrong here. Like,
listen, Bryson, I want to freak out too much about Stein. Like, I mean, Stein's great, but I don't think it means that
no one knows everything.
No one knows everything, but like
Gabe Vincent's gonna be in DC. Like, oh my god, you know what I mean? Like,
I know there were real people that were like hyped about it because they thought it was still Gabe Vincent from Miami. I was like, not even close.
No. Does one person think that? That's like insane.
I saw a few posts who preferred Vincent because they thought he was still a better player over Russ. I'm like, no.
Oh man, no. I mean, the DeMar one was the only one that really confused me because I was like, I don't see any. The Russ one you can get from like a mentorship example, and he can be a creator. DeRozan, like, I didn't even need to do this because I thought he'd fall to me, and I was gonna do a whole thing about how some DeRozan numbers that are just really. He only shoots mid ranges. That's all he does. Like, no defense, no threes, no rebounding. Not a whole lot of ancillary anything at this point. That's the one where I was like, I really wonder what the validity of these reports are.
That's an episode. We got through those final 2 guys. We got through it.
Yeah, so, that was painful, huh?
I had a great time.
I had a great time too. It's just like, oh my goodness.
You know what's funny is that for me it was like I didn't have to pick the last 2. I'm chilling, bro.
Well, yeah, it was all fun and games. And then I saw that you had your second pick, and I was like, oh man. And I was like, because my screen is ordered, Josh first, Bryson second, me third already. So I like looked down the line, and I was like, I saw my future ahead of me.
It's like I said, it's trying to choose. Like I said, like for lunch, you're a broke college student, and all that you see left in the 7-Eleven right across from campus is, I can get canned tuna or canned sardines. Which do I want? And it's like, I think I'd rather starve.
We'll keep on starving. We have a lot of offseason ahead of us.
Oh my goodness.
And I guess this was one of our first real offseason segments. So again, thanks for everyone for bearing with us here.
Yeah, thanks for everyone listening and bearing in the debate of Gabe Vincent or Aaron Holiday or DeMar DeRozan. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.